Are you tired of the chaos and unpredictability when your kids are with you after divorce? Do you think that routines are pointless or too controlling? Well, the truth is routines are the secret weapon to rebuilding safety, connection, and leadership, especially after divorce. And today, I'm going to show you how to build powerful routines the right way. Now, if you want more tools to rebuild your life after divorce, click subscribe below right now. Let's start with what actually happens when there are no routines that empower. One of the biggest issues today is that our kids are drowning in dopamine, screens, sugar, YouTube, TikTok, overstimulation, constant noise and chaos. Their nervous systems are fried. What they need isn't more fun, it's structure, and there is no better person than a dad to provide it. Now, add divorce to that. 2 homes, 2 different rule books, no consistency. So what happens? A kid shows up to your place after a week of different boundaries, and the second you say, no, not right now, they talk back, they storm off, or they throw a tantrum. Sounds familiar? You ask them to put their tablet away for dinner, and suddenly you're the enemy. You try to have a calm moment together, and they can't even sit still. Everything turns into a fight. You're exhausted. They're dysregulated. And no one knows what the hell just happened. They are living inside emotional whiplash. And here's the funny kicker. Every kid already has routines. Because what are routines? It's a series of actions. It's a series of steps. But most of those routines are disempowering. For example, wake up late, rush out the door, argue, scroll, eat garbage, crash. That's a routine. It's just not one that leads anywhere good. Not for you and not for your kids anyways. Now, let's get real for a second. A lot of divorce dads try to make up for the guilt by going soft. And I get that. I've been that dad too. They buy the toys, they say yes to everything, they focus on being the fun parent. They don't want to cause more pain in an already painful situation. So they avoid conflict and avoid structure. But here's what actually happens. Your kid stops feeling safe around you. Not because you're mean, but because you're inconsistent. You say bedtime is 9 p.m. until it's not. You say no more screens, but then give in after the third meltdown. Or was it after the first meltdown? You say clean up first, but then step over the mess because you don't want another argument. And what happens when they don't feel that leadership? They push harder, they get louder, they test more. Because they don't trust that anyone's really in charge. And unfortunately, they're right. And when there is no leader, they act like one. And that looks like defiance, disrespect, and emotional chaos. But what it really is, it's a child begging for order. Now let's contrast that. Let's talk about the other side of the coin, the possibility. Because when you build routines that actually empower your child, the shift is real. Not just for them, but more specifically for you. Let's start with the nervous system. There is a principle that states that external stability creates internal regulation. It's especially true for kids. When a child knows what to expect, their system, their nervous system, calms down. They're not waiting for the next blow up. They're not scanning for chaos. They're starting to trust the environment. And that means they start to trust you. You'll feel that too. Maybe not in the first day, but eventually you'll feel that. There's going to be less defiance, less pushback, more cooperation. Not because they've been forced to submit, but because they finally feel safe enough to let go of control. And here's the part most dads miss. Routines aren't restrictive. They're liberating. When your child knows what the rhythm is, they don't have to fight for control. They don't have to test every single boundary there is. They don't have to be on edge. They can relax, they can focus, they can breathe, and both of you begin to finally enjoy. You can finally stop walking on eggshells trying to keep the peace. You won't need to anymore. Next possibility is that routines build trust. Let me ask you this. How often have you made a rule and then didn't follow through? Or said, this is the last warning, and then gave 5 more? I know I did this many times. I think we all did this like a million times. When your child sees inconsistency, they stop trusting your leadership. But when you follow through with calm, with clarity, and consistently, they start to feel led. They stop needing to be in charge because someone already is. By the way, it's the same thing with women. And that's how respect is built. Not from yelling, not from power struggles, but from structure they can count on, that you bring to the table. But that's not all. Empowering routines also build lifelong skills. We're not just talking about getting your kid to brush their teeth. We're talking about teaching them how to manage their time, how to transition without meltdowns, how to stay focused, how to start and finish something, how to regulate energy, and how to regulate their own emotions. These are the things we wish we learned earlier, don't you? And this is how you give your child a head start, not necessarily in school, but in life. And finally, routines create connection. I want you to hear this clearly. The sacred doesn't live in the big events. It lives in repetition. So let me repeat that. The sacred doesn't live in the big events. It lives in repetition. It's not Disneyland that I'll remember. It's brushing teeth while telling jokes. It's the after-school snack you always shared on the couch. It's the good night ritual, the Saturday breakfast, the song in the car. Routines are how your child experiences your presence. It's the little things done over and over and over again that become the foundation of safety and love. And the way you show up in those moments, well, that's what stays with them for life. Now, we covered a lot of work here, a lot of ground. You understand the problems of not having routines and the possibility of having empowering routines. Before we talk about how to build routines, you still need to understand why they work. Because routines don't work because they're clever. They work because they're ruled in something deeper: leadership, energy, and nervous system safety. So here are the 4 core principles that make empowering routines actually stick. So listen carefully. Principle number 1, everything is already a routine. Let's be real here for a moment. Every family already has routines. It's just a question of whether those routines are empowering or destructive. Because a routine, what is it? It's a series of steps, series of actions. If your kid wakes up late, skips breakfast, argues, scrolls, snacks, collapses into bed, that's his routine. If you spend your mornings rushing, reacting, snapping, negotiating, that's a routine too. You're already building patterns. The only question is, are you building them on purpose and by design, or are they here by default, just like perhaps some other aspects in your life? Principle number 2, you're programming the biorobot. Wait, what? Now look, I say this with full respect. Your child is a soul inside a highly programmable nervous system that links the brain with the body. And just by the way, you are that way too. Now, what that means is you're not just getting them to listen. You're literally shaping how their body and brain respond to life, how they handle transitions, how they manage energy, how they respond to authority, how they regulate emotion. This is not about controlling your child. It's about upgrading their operating system. You're not barking orders here. You're writing code. And every repeated action is part of the program. Principle number 3, the routine must grow with the child. This isn't about nap schedules or sticker charts. Routines aren't just for toddlers, they're for humans in general. The format changes. The bedtime song becomes a nightly check-in. The chore list becomes shared responsibility, but the principle is the same. Order creates safety. Written builds trust, and structure unlocks freedom. And finally, principle number 4, your child mirrors your routine. You want your child to have structure? Look at yours. Because here's the truth no one tells dads. Your child is not listening to what you say. They're absorbing how you live. And let that sink in. Yeah. If your mornings are chaos, theirs will be too. If you scroll during dinner, so will they. If your bedtime isn't consistent, don't expect theirs to work either. Leadership doesn't start with them, it starts with you. When your routine reflects what you want to build, you stop needing to enforce it because you're already modeling it. That's the foundation. So how do you actually build routines that empower your child instead of just controlling them? It starts with this. Don't build routines for your child. Build them with your child. Here's the path. Step 1, design it together. For example, if you're designing the morning routine, you would sit down with your kid and say, hey, I want mornings to feel easier for both of us. What do you think would help? and let them speak. Let them think. When kids co-create the routine, they buy into it. It becomes something you're doing together, not something being done to them. And then once they say what they want or feel, then you incorporate what you want as well. And once that process is done, then you act it out. Treat it like a game. Let's say it's the coming home routine. You can say something along the lines of, hey, I've got a challenge for us. Let's pretend we're walking through the door right now, and you're going to teach me the steps that we just created over a new routine. And if I miss one, well, we'll restart. This process turns practice into play. They feel like the leader, and repetition becomes fun, not forced. It also sticks much better in their memory. And by the way, if you want a simple worksheet with the exact steps and simple ways to make it fun and enjoyable for the kids, you can download it in the link in the description. After that, you're going to step number 2. You need to test it visually. Once you've mapped it out and rehearsed it once or twice, make it visible. Use drawings, photos, icons, or let your kid design it. And here's an optional that play tip. If they love art or building, let them draw the steps like a comic strip or build a routine out of Lego or blocks. This is how you're turning buy-in into creativity. Now they're not just following it, they made it, so it sticks in their body. Alternatively, you can go in front of a computer and design it in a program like Canva or PowerPoint and let them participate, like choosing icons, drawings, etc. And then say, hey, let's try this for a few days and see how it works. Now you've got structure and ownership. And step number 3 is you need to train it daily. And in doing so, remember, you're not enforcing perfection, you're reinforcing progress. At first, stay close and join the routine. Do it with them, not just watching them. And here's an optional that play tip. Turn repetition into a straight challenge. You can say something like, hey, let's see if we can hit 3 perfect days in a row, and then we celebrate with a high-five movie night. Keep it playful, keep it connected. Step number 4, adjust it regularly. Every 7 to 14 days, sit down and review. Ask your kid, hey, what's working and what's not working? What do you want to change? And this check-in builds 2 things, adaptability and a habit of reflection. And if something didn't work, turn it into a debug moment. Hey, looks like we found a glitch in the system. Want to help me fix it? You're still teaching structure, but now you're teaching problem solving as well. Let me give you a few simple routines you can use as a starting point. And again, there is a link in the description that's going to provide all of that to you. In the morning, for example, you could go wake, bathroom, get dressed, breakfast, brush teeth, backpack check, and done. After school could be snack, decompress, homework, family contribution, free time. In the evening could be dinner, clean up, that time, wind down, lights out. And coming home could be shoes off, coat hang, wash hands, connect, snack. And again, I want to hammer it home. It's not about being strict. It's about creating rhythm. And rhythm creates safety. Safety that your kids desperately need after divorce. And so here's the final truth for you. You're not just raising a kid. You're raising someone who will one day lead their own life and eventually lead your grandkids. Well, hopefully, right? So routines are how you plant the seeds of leadership, confidence, and resilience, not just in your kids, but for generations to come. Now again, I put together a free worksheet to help you map this out with your child. You can download it at the link in the description. And listen, if this video gave you something real, hit subscribe, because I'm here to help you rebuild after divorce, and not just for you, but for your kids. Take care.